welcome back to the Talking Wolves podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cooper, and today I'm joined alongside Dave as a party. Dave, how you keeping, mate? Smile on your
Very
face.
well, thank you. Yeah, smile on my face. Good win. Comfortable win. Yeah, should be a good podcast, mate. Thanks for asking.
That's all right, mate. No problem. by Finn Morris as well. Finn, how are you?
I've also got a smile on my face. Yeah, happy all round. I don't know, you'd be crazy to miss that game at the weekend, wouldn't you? So, yeah, really happy.
No Jaw today. I'm sure he's got a smile on his face, but I believe he's schmoozing some clients in London, so unfortunately can't make it. But yeah, we are missing. We always do miss him, but we're still strong in a three as we are in a four.
He had a good cameo on the fans react though. He messaged me saying if you don't want to use it, you don't have to. But it was pure Sean Dyche of his voice.
I was going to try and clip it up.
Content as well. Yeah.
I was going to try and clip it up and play it, but I haven't had time. But if you want to go back and listen to it, it's you've played really well there. Played really well. Probably the best performance I've seen since we've come up. So
good impression. Bang on.
Yeah. He has suggested that he may have lost his voice in other means and ways than singing at the game. Something to do with being away in Israel or something like that. I'm not too sure. But anyway, moving on to the more important stuff. Lads, let's start with that game at the weekend. Now, I will stipulate that I did watch the game, but I wasn't at the game. I was away with family at a cottage retreat in Macclesfield, and it was lovely. But by the time the game kicked off, I was in a pub and I was pretty smashed, to be honest. So I did watch the game, but I remember the goals, and I think that's about it, really. Everything else seems to become a blur. Some things are coming back to me, but I think you two guys will probably sum the game up a little bit better.
You like Klopp? You just don't count the third goal because you didn't see it.
Perhaps I need to stay away a bit more. Perhaps my bad omen for the team. But Dave, Wolves had 2 weeks to stew on this game after the City defeat. Do you think maybe that helps Lopetegui maybe try and instill some of his methods into this team? It certainly looked like it from where I was. Granted, not very much, but.
Firstly, imagine if George came on the pod fin and said that he missed this game to go away with his missus. Matt would have been giving him pelters, so it's a good job George's not here, to be fair. No,
yeah, but
that's why I got jabbing early.
Yeah.
I'm a disciplinarian. If there's a problem, he'll just get booted. So he knows which way his bread's buttered.
What was it during COVID? Jackie Weaver just booted him from the. Is that her name?
You have no authority here, Jordan Russell.
Yeah, absolutely. No authority. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Transfer window was done. I think we can all admit it was a pretty positive window for Wolves, and Lopetegui's had that time to sort of, like you said, focus on the players. Help obviously with the fitness, because we had quite in January we had a tougher run of fixtures. Not necessarily the difficulty of games, but there were we had 3 midweek fixtures. I think the FA Cup replay didn't really help. So I think to actually have a nice prolonged break would have helped a lot of the players, even a lot of the players that went to the World Cup as well. So yeah, it was a little bit of a blessing in disguise, but it was fantastic. And obviously the players like Craig Dawson, Lamine, who's obviously now been in a couple of weeks. They really, everyone played fantastically well, and that extra time to prepare and the extra time to relax and get our condition even better, I think would have been a huge help for Wolves.
Dave, before we move on to the lineups, I'm thinking pre-match the build up from what I heard changed a little bit, hadn't it? I've spoken a little bit with the club, and Dave, they're really open to trying new things, new songs, new kind of match day experience to try and get that feel good factor a bit, which is really encouraging to hear, because the club needs to be open with stuff like this. But you said there was, you and I both love Elvis. Anyone who was in Benidorm knew we loved Elvis, the Rose and Crown, and the Carrot night. But was a bit of a change, I heard?
The whole sort of experience seemed a little bit different, I think, as we all know. And again, this is something that comes with the lack of games. And I think the Wolves fan base in general have always got something to moan about. But with the lack of games the last week or so, that was the focus on social media, the atmosphere. And I think with the new signings, everyone was talking about different chants or different ways we could get this atmosphere better. And I think the pre-match build-up was a lot better. in terms of the songs they played. They were, songs that everybody knew, whether they were old or new. They played songs that everyone was familiar with and songs that could relate to Wolves. And like I said, probably 5-10 minutes before kickoff, the Wonder Review came on. Absolute belter, like you said, Benidorm classic. And straight away, I sat in my chair and I thought, oh my God, get in. Like, I had a little feeling.
Get me on that strip.
Yeah. I had a sneaky feeling before the game. I thought we were going to be up for it. And then I think I tweeted, Elvis has been on, so just announce the 3 points. But it was much, much better. I think there's still a long way to go. Like the half-time entertainment just seemed a bit crap again, if I'm honest. In terms of, not that it was like, crap's too harsh. I think it wasn't bad or disorganized, but just the same old. There wasn't anything new. Just the music. They had the Astro Pay challenge and then music again. That was it, really. And then after the game, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but no goal music throughout the game, which again I didn't realise till after the game. I was like, hold on, we've not had any goal music. And then after the game, they left it at like 2 or 3 minutes to allow everyone, to get up for it. And then they went straight in with the I don't actually know the name of the song. Is it Le Amour?
L'amour c'est yours, yeah.
Yeah. They went straight in with that. Whereas I would have gone with a couple of the others and then gone with that after. Like built up to it. They just went straight into the goal music and it just didn't feel natural. That didn't, to be honest.
Okay,
everything else.
Over here.
Yeah. No, but they're all it's stepping in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. With the half time, it's a bit of a tough one, isn't it? When we come onto the game, I know it's a more important thing, but you want a bit of a compelling half time experience, but you don't want it to be too compelling because people won't go down and buy a pasty in a bit.
Yeah. You can see it from both sides, but yeah, they need. I don't know. Trying to find that balance, isn't it?
On the half-time thing, I don't know whether this isn't a general thing. This is probably just for this game. It's like a very, very small criticism because I think in general everything did improve. But were you out for the João Gomez reveal, Dave? Because I think they did that a bit early. Like I'd say there was a third of the fans in the seats. Maybe you could have done that.
It's a bit underwhelming as well. The
atmosphere, wasn't he?
The atmosphere for it was crap as well, I thought.
Yeah, so it wasn't the big sort of thing they were hoping. Whether they could have done that a bit later or at half-time. Like I think was Wang before game. I think he was a half-time, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was pre-Man U, was it last year?
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, but yeah, that was a little bit of an anticlimax. But apart from that, yeah, it's definitely going in the right direction.
I think the club are keen to get fans in just earlier than just before kick-off as well. So because I think that's a bit of a problem as well, like pre-match. So like most don't like turn up until like 3 or 4 minutes before the kick-off, and even then, some turn up after. Now you could say it's because of the problems queuing and stuff, but anyway, off the topic of match day experience, but back onto the topic of match day experience and atmosphere, Dave. The biggest driver of a better match day experience is performances on the pitch, and my word, what a performance it was. There was the lineup was quite strange, wasn't it? He went with a 4-4-2 and Nunes on the left. And admittedly, when I saw that and I saw they were playing that 4-4-2 and Nunes on the left, I thought he's going to have a lot of joy there. How did you see it? And like I said, I'm led by you guys on this. So
I thought, obviously, I think when the lineup came out, everyone just assumed it would be the same sort of 4-3-3 that we've been seeing since Lopetegui came in, really. But yeah, you're right. Throughout the game, Nunes almost played as that left midfielder, which I didn't dislike at all because I think it gave you so much flexibility in how you wanted to play and so on. And I thought he suited it quite well. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if it is, the position that be playing him every single game because I think we know how, talented he is, but it's so flexible because he can just so easily tuck back into a midfield three again. But you're right, performances and goals were a massive drive. I thought the atmosphere for the first 20, 25, 30 minutes was great. Died down a little bit towards the end of the first half, but I think that's obviously when everyone's sort of going into the concourse again. But second half, it was really, really good again. And it felt good. It just felt like it was pre-COVID, the way we were chanting, the way we were going at the Liverpool fans. Who, you didn't hear them once, really. The only time you saw them was when, I don't know if you saw it, Finn, they were just doing I don't know if it was, they were doing their, let's pretend to score a goal in the middle of the stand.
In the middle.
Yeah, but then I think that's when they were kicking all the chairs in as well, to be honest.
I thought it was, I think they were jumping on the chair. I mean, I don't fully know, but I thought, what are they doing in there? And then that area had no chairs in it, so it might have linked up, I don't know.
But it just felt like a pre-COVID Molineux atmosphere again. And I think a big, obviously, part of that is us scoring the early goals and scoring 3 goals in a game, which is unheard of for us.
Finn, what were your thoughts on it? The subtle tweak to the starting lineup, and it obviously worked. It's a fantastic start. I can't remember the last time Wolves scored a couple of goals in the opening half hour. Never mind 12 minutes.
No, yeah, I suppose me and you as North Bank sufferers, we don't often see many goals in the first half. But yeah, well, when I saw the lineup,
don't see many goals at all, mate. So we've got it good.
Yeah, good point. Molyneux sufferers.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, with the team, obviously, I just assumed it'd be a 4-3-3. So much that I saw Sky Bet had boosted Neves to have a shot on target, and I thought, in the 3 he'll be more advanced, only with Lamina sitting. So I put a whole £1 on that because it'd been boosted to 2-1. And thankfully the shot went in. No, I think I put a 5 on it. So, look after the pennies. But anyway, yeah, I thought it'd be more of that. It didn't turn out to be that. And initially, when I started to see Nunes over there, I thought, God, I suppose any natural left winger would be itching to be up against Trent. And when you've seen what Matoma and that have done to him recently. So I wasn't quite sure on it. But in the end, yeah, it did work quite well. I thought Hwang in that wide right position as well. It was such a shame that he went off in the first half because he was having a really good game. And yeah, up until half time, we're absolutely cruising. Those 2 early goals, I mean, they're not the prettiest, but they're goals that we haven't been scoring. I mean, Dawson, I know we'd joked about his goal scoring prowess, but he gets 4 or 5 a season. But it was taken like a striker, that one. And we just haven't had someone that just whacks it. I mean, I said to my mum, if that falls to Podence there, he'd dummy it. I mean, he's our top scorer, so I don't want to criticise him too much, but it does just feel very, very basically that we wouldn't whack it. And it was so refreshing to see an old British bloke, I know, at risk of sounding a bit Brexit, just whack the ball into the net. Super.
Have it.
The thing is, though, like if that usually falls to a Wolves centre forward, it's in the Asda car park. But the fact it's fallen to a 32-year-old British centre half who's slightly receding, who looks like he probably couldn't run a bath. Obviously, that's not the case, but he's absolutely levered it. And Dave, what was it like then once that second goal went in? Were you still thinking we could lose this game? Because I was.
Yeah, for sure. I think the key thing was to get into half time without conceding. But even after then, like when Liverpool putting the pressure on for like the first 10, 15 minutes of the second half, I thought one goal here and it just changes the game completely. And that's why I celebrated the third goal more than any, because I just thought, I knew then we've got the 3 points, it's secured, and I thought it was such a well worked goal. But the Dawson one was interesting because I did the old faithful. We won the free kick or whatever it was, and I said, right, 2-0 Dawson. I say it to about 2-0 Collins.
It up for Nathan Collins, haven't you?
Yeah,
Nathan Collins got a 1-0.
Yeah. I said, 2-0 Dawson. Obviously, the ball got half cleared. I thought, and then when it come back out to him, like you said, brilliant finish. But I did think he'd start. I thought he would start with Collins, though, personally. I was really surprised to see Keelman stay in there. But both of them, bar one error each, they both had almost an immaculate game. And Hwang as well, like you mentioned, Finn. I thought when the lineup came out, I was like, really? But again, even his own mistakes, like there was once or twice, it was a really poor first touch, but he'd go and win it back. Like he just work his socks off to win it back. And I think Lopetegui got the lineup bang on, considering he sort of blamed himself for that City game. I thought, it was bang on. But yeah, brilliant finish from Dawson for the second goal. But yeah, like you say, it's nice to have players all around the pitch scoring goals. And I know we're all crying out for a striker in the January window, but if you can start getting your midfielders and defenders grabbing 2 or 3 goals each before the end of the season, we'll be in a decent position.
Yeah, definitely. Finn, Dave mentioned there about Hwang, and if he lost the ball, he'd win it back. I look at that lineup, and I think for me, I mean, obviously seeing how they play, but it just screams energy. Is that how you saw it? I know fans have lauded Lamina, who I've rated for quite some time, and I know Dave, when I said we were signing, was like, it's going to be a really good signing. It's really good business, but we've all been crying out for a dynamic midfielder. But I think in most Wolves fans' heads, they think a dynamic midfielder is someone who can pick the ball up and drive. Whereas Lamina can do that, but like laterally as well. Like he covers so much ground. He's like having 2 players in the midfield, and he's all over their players like a wet flannel. Like is he the missing piece to that jigsaw? And were you impressed with him on Saturday?
Yeah, well, after needing several pieces for a midfield jigsaw, now with those signings, I think you've got 6, 7 7 players in that midfield to be able to play in there. And I'll be honest, after that sort of Man City, what did he have? Sort of 60 minutes when he got that early yellow. We really didn't see the best of him, and I thought, oh, maybe he has sort of waned since his time in the Premier League. But no, yeah, Lamina was probably man of the match for me. Him and Dawson, and Neves probably going for it. But I was very, very shocked to see with my betmate team. I was feeling very smug that I had Lamina in there to see he only got 4 points, because I did feel like he won the ball. Honestly, touching 100 times. I thought we were on for the first 100 points around betmate. He was, absolutely everywhere, as was everyone. And it did help that we were playing a less confident Liverpool team. And it helped that Wolves were more confident, that we don't just sit back against Liverpool like we used to do. We went at them for every ball. And more often than not, I'd say the 50-50s, we were winning 75-25. Like it was really, really encouraging. I'd say, like when Dave said about celebrating the third goal, it almost felt like we needed to get a third in that first half to calm the nerves, because we were so on top. And then obviously we did sort of sit back, but it was by design to get that third goal. But in that period of time, where we were at them, at their throats, we were, unbelievable. And if we can do that, and albeit a team low on confidence, but a team with that quality in there, I think it really bodes well for the rest of the season. Why can't we do that to everyone?
Yeah. I know Liverpool are low on confidence, but I still think it's a massive kind of scalp for the squad in terms of breeding a bit of confidence, because last I know they're not doing great this season, but last year they were on for the quadruple. Like they're still an excellent team. Yes, I know they've got injuries and stuff, but hopefully they can take a bit of confidence from that and kick on. But Dave, you mentioned there about Kilman and Dawson. Do you think that Collins dropped out purely because of the balance? Obviously, Dawson right-footed, Kilman left-footed. Because like you, mate, I was surprised that Collins wasn't in there.
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right. One's left-footed, one's right-footed, and Dawson playing the way he does, if he continues with that, will Collins get back into this team? As mad as it sounds, I think obviously he could come if he's comfortable enough playing on the left of a back four, and I'm sure Lopetegui is going to be trying that in training and so on. Then I'm very happy to give him another chance in this team. But based on Dawson's performance, it was fantastic. Like nothing phased him. Like I said earlier, he made the one error where it was a sloppy pass, but I think the West Ham fan said when we did the transfer video, like long range passing, he's actually really good, but short range passing, if you're trying to play out from the back, you might have an issue. And that's one thing I noticed on Saturday. We restricted that a lot more. And all of a sudden, we were talking about Jose Sarr a couple of weeks ago. I would have said that Jose Sarr had a really good game, but it's because he didn't have to have the ball at his feet too much. He didn't have to panic. And Wolves, I think with the Lamina and Neves helped it a lot more, but we had more options when we were on the ball at the back. But we just went direct, and that helped us a lot as well. If there was any sort of pressure, rather than putting pressure back on Jose Sarr, we just went direct. And I think, again, Matt, you said it a couple of weeks ago. Yes, you're going to lose possession and so on, but it really put the pressure on Liverpool. And even Matip, every time he had the ball, just looked so shaky. And I think it worked really well. So I think long-term, Lopetegui will want to try and get this play out from the back and passing it around the back system integrated. But I think it's probably going to be another year or two once he's got the defenders he wants and once he's got defenders that are comfortable on the ball.
I've seen your tip before. It does look a bit shaky.
Yeah.
When you say went direct though, who are they trying to play up to?
Well, it wasn't just like route one or hoofball. It was sort of into the channels. So I thought the movement from obviously Cunha, Hwang, and Sarabia was good enough. But even there were like sort of low driven passes, which were really good as well. But just in general, I just don't think they still played nice football, don't get me wrong, but they just didn't rely as much on Jose Sarr, which I think was a big part of that. And I mean, you've seen the video, Matt, at the end of the game of the passing it around for the last 3-4 minutes without Liverpool getting a touch. So we were knocking it about quite nicely, but I just think we played it a lot safer. I would say we didn't make as much risks against Liverpool. And I think that's been the difference between us on Saturday and us in previous games. Although we've played good football, we've made too many mistakes. On Saturday, we made very, very little mistakes. And when Liverpool made mistakes, we punished them for it.
Yeah. We spoke about, obviously, the playing out from the back quite extensively on the last couple of podcasts. And we're saying, well, he obviously needs to get the players in to play how he wants. But then a couple of people have said, like, well, it's about finding the sweet spot, maybe like adapting how you play. And I was like, no, that's how he wants to play. But you don't mind going direct because it's you might not win the first ball, but if you win the second ball, you still.
It was happening a lot though.
But playing with that team, with that energy, it allows you to swarm teams. Whereas if you're playing with Martinho and Neves as a two, it's like as good as they are technically, they don't really have that. Maybe Neves, but don't really have that ability to press the way that Wolves would like to do.
We had it a couple of times where, say for argument, Semedo, again, I thought had a good game, but there was once or twice where he was almost caught with his back to goal and he had to sort of try and swing a pass forward. And he did. And then Robertson or Trent would knock it out for a throw in. And yes, they've intercepted it, but you've probably gained about 40, 50 yards straight away up the pitch, whereas 5 seconds ago, you were under a lot of pressure. So it was just little things like that were going our way. And I think picking up 3 points on Saturday was massive for us. Because then you look at our next 3 fixtures, and I'm not sitting here saying we're going to win all 3, but we've got Southampton, Bournemouth, and Fulham, which I know Fulham are probably in the best form out of the 3, but I'd back us to get points in every single one of those games, and all of a sudden the league table looks completely different.
It's weird, isn't it, at the minute? Because Forest are picking up points. Everton, obviously still unknown quantity with Deutsch, but started fantastically. I think even a Palace or someone could get sucked in.
Well, even Villa. I know Villa have got a little bit of a cushion on us at the moment, and I know they've been good under Emery, but they were poor against Leicester. So I think anyone in that bottom half has still got to be cautious. I think at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Finn, let's talk about Ruben Neves. He's really been a coming of age this season for him. I know we've been poor, really poor, but for me, I'd probably say this has been his best season as a Wolves player. He's been outstanding.
Yeah, and I think that goal equaled his best ever season goals-wise as well already, and we're only in February, aren't we, with a World Cup chunk taken out. So, yeah, it's a shame that he might leave us on the highest of highs, like best ever season in a Wolves shirt. But, yeah, it oddly, you get slightly emotional. I mean, obviously, it's a situation to go 3-0 up against Liverpool, but just to see Neves score, he's just probably going to be one of the best players we'll ever see in our lifetime at Wolves, and to have that almost loyalty. I know you could argue George Mendes sort of predetermines every player's future, but the loyalty that he showed, I'm going to well up here now. It just to see a player like this, to have him for so long. but no, I mean, you just think about was it Chris Powell when he's saying, "Oh, well, Neves has gone there for a season," and that's what we were thinking, 1 or 2 seasons maximum, and we're what now? I mean, look how much his hair's grown. I mean, 6 seasons, he's fully ingratiated himself in Wolverhampton. He looks, he still makes the scruffy look handsome, even though he does look very Wolverhampton now. But no, yeah, just unbelievable performance again. Goals from inside the box now. He's just turned into an unbelievable footballer. I'm going to stop myself welling up because I'm going to miss him a lot when he inevitably leaves at the end of the season.
I think Dave's still holding out for him to sign a new contract.
I've got a feeling he will, mate. A good finish between now and the end of the season. And I think even if it's just a year extension, 1 year rolling contract, one of those. But that, like I said earlier, that third goal was just a huge sigh of relief. The way Martinho won it back as well. And I think that's one of the pros. I think if he's happy, I think he's at the moment a definite to be let go at the end of the season. If he can come on and just give that energy for the last 10, 15 minutes of a game, because he wanted that ball more than any other Liverpool midfielder. The ball to Adama was brilliant. And then the difference between Adama, 6 months ago to now is massive. Looking up, getting his head up. And when Neves controlled that ball, it just seemed like an age before. It was just that moment between him actually shooting and him having that first touch. It was like the longest second of my life.
Perfectly wasted as well, that pass.
Yeah, it was a brilliant pass, brilliant touch, brilliant finish. And as soon as that goal went in, I knew we'd got all 3 points. It was huge.
Yeah, it's just perhaps someone like Lamina allows Neves to play a little bit further forward though, and has a bit more impact on game. I prefer him a little bit deeper. But when was the last time that we saw him make a lung busting run into the box? I remember Newcastle away, he scored a header. It doesn't happen very often. But Finn, it's an unbelievable touch and finish. It even sent Alisson sent him to the shops. I knew with a little dummy, possibly to his left.
Well, yeah. Well, as a previously discussed North Bank sufferer, it just looked like it was the easiest goal to score. But once you watch the replays from close up, yeah, he does him with the eyes, and then obviously goes with his weaker left foot. That must be one of his first ever goals with his left foot, really, for Wolves. Thinking about it, but no, yeah, I've appreciated much more on second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth viewing, because I've watched it several times. But no, yeah, very underrated. And I think that might be his first left-footed goal. Anyway, not important. But no, yeah, wrapped up the 3 points and obviously got to see that Rashford clap back as well. So
yeah,
it's good all
he
round.
wasn't happy, was he, about these celebrations? No, you say that about watching it back though. Like I was up at 5:30 this morning, my missus going to work, and she come into the living room. She was like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "Just watching the highlights from Saturday." She's like, "You sad bastard." I was like, "Nah, it's because you're doing the podcast, ain't it? I just want to know. Just want to make sure I'm up to date with everything. You know what I mean?" But it's like the 8th or 9th time I've watched it. But it's Dave. The wins are few and far between at the minute, and the feel good moments. Like I feel like we've almost been a little bit desensitized to them under Nuno because he obviously brought so many big wins over the traditional top 6. But where does that rank since you've come up, Dave, in terms of performances?
Performances is up there because not once have we. Maybe Manchester United last year under Lage, which again were very few and far between. But this in terms of, and again, I know Liverpool weren't at their best, and it wasn't Liverpool that have been challenging for titles and so on. But in terms of dominance over a big 6 side, let's call them a big 6 side. In terms of dominance, that was one of our best performances, and I think it was good. I don't know. I still don't think it's sunk in for me because Liverpool are the one. Correct me if I'm wrong. Since we've come up, they're the only big team that we haven't been able to beat in the league. We've beaten in the cup and so on, but in the league we've really struggled against them. So I think it was a huge win for us, and it's got to be up there. Like you said, Nuno had some massive wins and some fantastic fight backs, but that was just pure dominance. It almost felt like the Arsenal game we played in midweek. We beat 3-1 in the end. We were 3-0 up at half time. It was almost like we got those early goals, killed the game off by half time. That was it. We knew we were going to get the 3 points. It's so rare to see that against a big side. And Finn, that was Ruben Neves' first left-footed Wolves goal.
Thank you, Dave.
Well,
I think that's the first time we've won by more than 1 goal this season, isn't it? As well, it was actually like a relaxing end to a game, a winning game.
Yeah, there was no That's why when the 3rd goal went in, I was like, yes, because I knew if it was still 2-0 at 80 minutes and Liverpool got a goal, then we were going to be sort of backs against the wall. But yeah, the way we would just boss them off the park for the last 5 minutes or so. It was like if I was in that away end, I would have been angry. Like I would have been really upset. Yeah. But yeah, it was just a dominating performance. And I think one of you mentioned earlier about quickly scoring those 2 goals. That was the quickest Wolves have been 2-0 ahead since we beat Sheffield United in 2020 when we beat them 2-0. Jimenez and Sace. We actually were 2-0 up in 6 minutes in that game.
Is that the lockdown one?
Yeah, you remember that was the first game of the season. That's when I thought we were genuinely going to win the league. So
yeah, we were cooking that day.
That was Wolves 4.0, wasn't it? Yeah, that was
that was it. Pedence absolutely sent. Was it Lundstrom?
No, it was a Dharma, wasn't it?
Nah, Pedence sent him as well. A little nutmeg sent him, or he just slid and
yeah, that was it. Because Adama did like a little roulette turn, didn't it? Finn can talk to you about what's a roulette on FIFA? 4-star skill, 3-star skill, Finn?
It's only a 3 in it, a roulette. Yeah, it's nothing.
L2, right stick all the way around. But
I don't like a spinny one. Don't like I'd stay away from roulettes.
If you ever play with or some pro clubs, I'm very much a fan of just bashing the stick and see what happens. Never by design, but we've struggled, haven't we, recently, Dave? We've really struggled. But
Finn back, I think.
Yeah, we've been we've slipped down the leagues, but less about pro clubs, more about BetMate. So it wasn't just a good week for Wolverhampton Wanderers. It was also a fantastic week for Talking Wolves. So in the free pot, we had Talking Wolves Jordan, who finished top and won 40 quid. And followed closely behind was also our very own Dave Azapardi, who won £22. Dave, what does this mean to you? What's more important, the 3 points or the 22 quid?
A bit of both,
and
mate.
Remember that BetMate are a partner of ours, so please don't be disrespectful.
Well, obviously, people that watched the preview, we did it with Chris from the Red Men, and he'd gone full Liverpool, and I had as well. I'd gone full Liverpool, and then I was driving to the game. I was aware, obviously, we had 5 minutes to before kickoff. We could change the team. I was driving to the game, and I thought, as soon as I park up, I'm changing that to full Wolves. I just had a feeling. And like I said earlier, when Elvis came on, bosh, I knew we were going to win. So I was glad. I thought Captain Neves, but I Captain Nunes, who still had a good game in BetMate. And I had Neves there, I think it was my vice. So that's how George just about edged me, because he had Neves as his captain. But yeah, dominant performance by me and George at the top there. I think you had a pretty heavy Wolves team, and you didn't finish in the paid places, did you?
I know. I'm just looking at it now because I was fuming because as I said with Lamina, I think it's because I captained Sarabia. Like I just backed him to score for some reason, and obviously
he had a good game, by the way.
Yeah, he did. I thought he was pretty average.
Juan was phenomenal.
Yeah, with how are we going with this? Sarabia or Sarabia. I didn't appreciate the ball to Hwang enough at the time, but so then on second viewing. But did you vice or captain the keeper, Dave? Because obviously I heard that in the opposition.
That was it. So
that just feels hollow to me. I think that's a bit pervy.
Captain Nunes and vice Jose Sarr. Yeah. So that's why, I think you've got to be fortunate, because if you can get a clean sheet and a couple of saves, you're laughing. It's a big risk there.
That's winning dirty. Don't like that.
Yeah, I did watch the preview. And Chris was berating you. Dave, you can't go against your own teammates. You can't do that.
Yeah, that's why I changed.
He's won you the money. He got into your head, all Patrick. Got into your head. He's done you a massive favour. But say what, Saturday was a great day all round for me, for you guys, for BetMate, for whoever. Apart from which is quite ironic, really, because BetMate are based in Liverpool, so. Yeah, a little bit close.
They went quiet in the group chat, Matt, didn't they?
Very quiet, actually.
Very quiet.
Very, very quick to respond this morning about the pot, but normally get a bit of banter, but nothing today. Nothing. Normally Declan's a big red, and he must be on annual leave or something, because nothing, not even been active. So if anyone has seen Declan from BetMate, drop a comment, because we are starting to get a little bit worried about him. I'm sure he'll be back out on Tuesday if they beat Real Madrid. But yeah, fantastic week. But moving on, guys, to the game we've got on Saturday, and I'm really, really looking forward to going to this now. I feel like it's almost a foregone conclusion that we're going to go down there and dive and put about 4 past them. I know it's important not to get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah,
but, what did George say about about Forest? We could go go there and beat them 4 or 5 easily.
They're the worst team I've seen down the Molyneux for years. Yeah.
The worst team I've seen down Molyneux for years. Yeah, talking of Sean Dyche, Dave, do you remember your comments about him a few months ago?
I do, and I don't wish to bring them up, to be honest. I think someone brought them up on the comment section last week, so I'm not bringing it up again.
Anyway, Southampton versus Wolves on Saturday, Dave. We're going down. This is a very good opportunity to put a bit of daylight between us and the bottom 3, isn't it? Again, it all changes very quickly, but this is a golden opportunity, especially if Nathan Jones is still in charge.
Yeah, so as of right now, it looks like he will be still manager, but his comments at the weekend were extremely strange. And I think, for a man that's still fairly new to the job, he's under a hell of a lot of pressure. I thought it was a weird appointment at the time, to be honest. And his only wins against City in the Cup, so I don't think he's won in the league as of right now. So huge pressure going on him. So I think it's going to go one of 2 ways. I can't see it ending as a draw. One of these teams is going to win. And at the moment, I think Wolves should be firm favourites for it, especially with the way that we've been playing. But like you've just said, if we can get a win today, on Saturday, I think going into the Bournemouth game, I don't know what the sort of speculation, if any, or pressure is on O'Neill at the moment as well at Bournemouth, because genuinely we could go for the next 2 weeks and get both of those managers sacked, I think, because Gary O'Neill's not in a great position. Nathan Jones isn't in a great position, and 2 wins, we could possibly get both of those managers sacked. But his comments on Saturday were just absolutely ridiculous. And as a fan, I'd be seething with what he said about Southampton. So, some real pressure on him. And I think it could go really toxic at St Mary's against them if we start well early on.
What, for those who don't know about the comments, what were them? I know he said that at Luton he was one of the best in Europe.
So, yeah, basically he said that he was pandering. He'd been pandering to too many people, such as the fans. So, but now he's going to do it his way. And I thought, but surely he's a manager of a Premier League club, and if you think you've done so well previously, you do it your way anyway. If that has gone so well previously, but so straight away, if you're like berating the fans, that's like me saying, "Oh, he should start Diego Costa up front, Lopetegui," and he reads my tweet and starts Diego Costa and then blames me after the game. It's just, if we lose, no, it's your decision. Just take the blame for it.
No,
So
listen to you, would he be down?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he's just using excuse, trying to blame everyone but himself. Even the players, I think, would be disappointed with that. But they had a 21s fixture on the Friday before the match, like in the I think it was the International Premier League Cup or whatever it was, and they played about 4 first teamers in that under 21s game the day before a Premier League match. So like, who was one of the new that Orsic? He played in the under 21s game.
Did he?
On Friday.
I saw he put some sort of like dig Instagram story on or something that all the Southampton
they played 2 of the Bella Kotchap, I think, played in that game. Somebody else as well, and I thought, what is he doing?
Yeah, the thing that got a lot of Southampton fans, and I think would get me if it was the other way, like if it was a Wolves manager, was that they said every single time they've lost, which has been most times, in the press conference, he refers to as they have done this, as in Southampton as they. And then when they beat Man City, it was we've done this well. So he said it's like you're claiming the very small good bits, but then distancing yourself. So it's like, it's got to be that sort of team mentality. And I saw he was like throwing Lavia under the bus for like not having a good performance. It's like, mate, like keep him on side. Looks like a gem. So it just really, really strange because I went to school with a guy that now plays for Luton. And Nathan Jones gave him his debut in the cup, and whether it was contractual, but he didn't have a bad word to say about him. Whether that was just sort of
he's meant to be.
It's just really weird how he's gone because he's been so good at Luton both times, but to snake him twice and then he seems like he's had a disaster.
Yeah, but he went to Stoke and was absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Behind the scenes, apparently, like as a talker and as a if he wanted to sign you right now as a player, apparently, like he's like. Presentation skills are phenomenal. Like genuinely, like he could like if they had the funds to sign someone, he would be able to convince them to join. But obviously, tactical that doesn't translate. I think Jesse Marsh is probably the same as well. Did really well. I think he was quite fortunate with the talent that he had at Salzburg and so on. But yeah, he's not done brilliantly at Leeds. So yeah, I think he'd be nice. He seems a bit of a cocky git anyway, Nathan Jones. So I'll be happy to get one over on him, get him sacked on Saturday. Genuinely, if we beat them 5:30, he'd be gone, guaranteed.
Yeah, if you go on any Southampton tweet at the moment, they've made the fans have made this little graphic, and basically every single tweet is just this graphic saying Jones out, Jones out, Jones out. So if anyone wants to see the sort of mood around there,
he had like 8 games? Is it 7, 8 games?
I think it's 8 games, 1 win in 8, which isn't great by anyone's standards. But I mean, this could play into Wolves' hands, and it probably won't because it's Wolves. But Finn, do you think it could be? The way he's reacted, Dave said about the team selection with the under-23s, it's all the hallmarks of a manager who knows he's on the way out. Do you feel that, obviously, with the Orsic cryptic Instagram post, throwing players under the bus, the players know another couple of defeats, maybe one more, he's gone, then it could work in Wolves' favour?
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think players. I think I was listening to Ben Foster's thing recently where players they're not going to down tools. They're not going to say, we'll lose against Wolves and then he'll be gone. Although I did see, relating to Jesse Marsh, a lot of the Leeds players were liking the post of him being sacked on Instagram today. So maybe it does happen more than you think. But no, in this one, it's a real good opportunity. I mean, they have got the ace card of Paul Onuachu. So you never know. He could grab an early hat trick. Whether he'll know about those goals or not, like normal, I don't know.
Worst hat trick, yeah.
But no, I think, I mean, you've got to be looking at 6 points in the next 2. If we've got the ambitions that we have to try and get a more comfortable mid-table finish. So feeling quite confident. They did sign some good players in January, and I don't think they've actually given, is it Suleimana a debut? Obviously, going back to FIFA, he was superb in Silver Stars last year. So there's a few. There seems to have their recruitment department at the very least have got a few good names in. But if he's going to tell them, like Nathan Jones is going to tell them all their shit, and he's one of the best managers in Europe at Luton, I think we'll be winning on the team motivation side at the very least.
If they went down, would you take Ward-Prowse? I know we're pretty stacked in centre mid at the minute there.
I actually think in possession as well and out of possession, he's not just set piece. I think he's a really good footballer. But
free kicks,
would he want to leave? Because he just feels like one of them
I think if they went down, mate, he'd be gone. He'd be gone. But I think even someone like Spurs or something would take a punt on him.
You think?
Just those set pieces alone, though, like match winners, aren't they? Or Newcastle. It screams Newcastle, I think, actually.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he could do. He could do. Let's not talk about if they went down, who would take. Let's not jump the gun. Let's not jump the gun. But like you said there, I feel like they made on paper some good signings, but every single signing they made, went on Twitter. Why are we signing him? And it's like, you realise we can't sign every single other player in the world. We can't do it, Chelsea. We can't buy all the footballers, so there's none left to play. That's like the Orsic signing. He'd have made a big difference. As we've currently got 34 wingers. Like, in terms of, still got too many now. That's probably why Gedge left. But Dave, selection headache for Lopetegui at the weekend? Go unchanged, doesn't look like Hwang will play. Who comes in for him?
Difficult, man. It's difficult. I think if Hwang's okay, but I don't think it sounds like he's not. I think you go unchanged bar that one. So I don't know. Pedence obviously is the one at the moment who started off pretty brightly under Lopetegui. I'll probably go with Pedence, although Adama did obviously start quite well as well. So I think there's options there for him, isn't it? Because you could always put Cunha on the wing and bring Jimenez in, who I think it's unfair the tweets he was getting about him this weekend, because I thought we've just won 3-0 and people are just directing the abuse at him, which I found really, really strange.
Just want a game of football, lad. So I'll just be happy for a little bit.
There was three instances I remember from him. The one was just a speculative half volley from about 40 yards, which I don't really get what he did, to be fair. The second one, when he went through on goal and he was quite unselfish and he gave it to Adama, I think he should have gone himself. And the third one, where he looked well off, but Trent was quite wide and playing him on, and he did the same thing where he just volleyed it from 30 yards and it went wide. But I actually thought he sacrificed quite a bit and he looked all right. I don't think he'll start. I don't think he's fit enough to start. I think he's going to be one of those players like Matinho where you can bring him on for that last 20 minutes, bit of experience. I think you'd probably go Pedence over Hwang. Other than that, you've got to stay unchanged.
What's the matter with Costa? Is he carrying a knock?
I just think he's out of favour.
Was he on the bench at the weekend?
No, him and Totti weren't on the bench, and João Gomez wasn't either. But that just shows the depth we've got at the minute.
Yeah, Gomez I understand though, because he's not played for like 2.5 months, has he?
João Gomez, Totti Gomez, and Diego.
João Gomez,
yeah.
And you still got Neto as well to get on there as well.
Yeah,
crazy.
Mad.
Good to have a better place, though, isn't he, Costa?
Compared to the first game of the season where we had Chem Campbell, Mosquera,
Tom Rouse, Dazzling Day,
Nathan Judah, Wore a bench.
Wore a bench. Yeah. And it's options. It's options to change the game and also see out the game. So
Lopetegui made a comment, and then he goes, "Nobody in my team should be happy to be on the bench. They should all want to be playing." So, which I think is really good, and it'd be interesting if that Dan Bentley signings obviously pushed Jose Sarr on to have a better game on Saturday as well. I suppose we'll wait and see.
Maybe. Moving on to the BetMate pot, though. The pot for the weekend's game is part of a wider pot. It's a Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff pot, so it's up on the BetMate app now if you want to get involved. So it's just £5 in for your chance to win £600. Now, there could also be a free pot with this as well within the fixture. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that. That's part of the freebie. Easy enough for me to say, freebie February promotion that BetMate are running. But lads, can we talk through the teams? Can we start with you, Dave? Is that okay, mate? Why have we picked this team?
Yeah, sure. So, interesting one. Quite difficult as well because of the amount of games that are on it, if I'm honest. But I've gone with Keylor Navas in goal. I thought he had a really good, solid debut for Forest over the weekend. I think Fulham will pose a similar attacking threat to Leeds. I thought Leeds, should have done better against Forest yesterday, but I think he's going to have plenty of saves there and still, slim chance of the clean sheet as well. Estupinan for Brighton. Obviously, Brighton's still doing really well. He's getting a lot of decent points, got a good average over the last 4 or 5 games. So I've gone with him. And Gabriel of Arsenal. I think Brentford are a good side, but I back Arsenal to bounce back, especially at home. Gone Neves as captain. I'm just backing our boy again. I thought he was phenomenal, and I back him to do well again against Southampton this weekend. Next to João Palhinha, he's probably one of the only players I'm in and ahhing about at the moment. I think his average is really, really good, and I think against Forest, he be a good midfield battle in there probably. Harry Kane has started to hit the goals over the last couple of games, and Bukayo Saka up top.
Wonderful. Just looking at Pena there, I think that's a great shout, to be honest. I've not thought about putting that in. Hopefully, Dave, though, he picks up a booking, because he's on 8 at the minute. So if he picks up a booking in this game and the following game, I'll miss the game against Wolves. Will he not?
Yeah, probably, actually, yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully...
not probably, he will, yeah. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He will pick up a yellow card, and he will miss the game against Wolves. So, yeah, he's on 8th, so he needs another couple before that fixture, and there's 2 match weeks, so hopefully that happens. Finn, can you talk me through your team, mate, and why you think it's going to take a share of the spoils?
After last week, picking a whole Wolves team and somehow still not getting anywhere near, I'm not too confident, but... I've got Sanchez in goal from Brighton. I was just thinking, because the games, none of them scream a really good goalkeeper. But yeah, I thought, what's the sort of one way you could
tight games
get a few
on
saves,
as well.
But also a clean sheet. Yeah, so I suppose you've got the Estupiñán bit of the Brighton clean sheet in there, Dave, as well. So optimistic on that one. Anthony Robinson seems to pick up ridiculous points for Fulham. I was looking, so I've gone him against Forest. Leicester are playing Tottenham, so I've wanted a bit of Tottenham everything really. So I went with Perisic, and then I've got a Tottenham player to come as well. I might go for Porro. I don't know if he plays. Just something a little bit exciting in there as a new signing who probably won't do very well. I've viced João Palhinha.
You've really not thought about this, have you?
He's really
straight.
Really
positive. Well, like Leicester, I think they're bottom of the XG. Well, like top of the XG conceded since the restart. So I wanted as much Tottenham as possible. But obviously, you can only have 2 players with these sorts of ones. So I've gone Palhinha, who just sweeps up. And I think if he's playing deeper, and Forest like to just spam through balls, don't they, to their vibey lot up front. So hopefully, he can cut a few of those out and get some big points. I've got Jensen, who has a really good average for basically breaking stuff up as well. And they've got Arsenal, so I thought they like to be busy in that area. And I've captained Harry Kane, hoping that XG thing comes through. And then I've had to back Wolves somewhere, so I've gone Cunha, who looked bright against Liverpool.
Very, very, very nice. So I've gone with Jose Sarr in goal, and I've also vice-captained him. Now, if anyone watched a preview with Chris Patrick from the Redmen, I believe his colleague had won quite a considerable amount of money by captaining goalkeepers, because he said you can. This is what he said. You can earn up to around 20 points for captaining a goalkeeper. So I'm expecting Wolves to keep a clean sheet, but Jose Sarr to face a few shots. So that's why I'm going with Jose Sarr as vice captain. It could be a stroke of genius. It could fall flat on its backside. I'm probably going to be the latter, but we'll see. Then I've gone for Anthony Robinson and
Estupiñán. I can't even say that. Estupiñán.
Just call him Purvis. His first name's Purvis. That's what I go with. That's great.
Purvis Estupiñán. The back 2. Then my midfield 2 are Martin Odegaard and Mitoma. Then I've gone Eddie Nketiah and Harry Kane captain up front, fresh off the record amount of goals for Tottenham Hotspur. So that's my team. I just think there's a lot of goals there, and that's what I'm banking on. But yeah, I'm hoping for a bit of stroke of genius for the vice captain of Jose Sarr. So we shall see, won't we? We shall see. So that's the Saturday 3 p.m. pot, and it's £5 in for your chance to win £600. And the beauty of Bet, mate, is you can change your team up until 5 minutes before kickoff. So if you pick your team now and some of your players aren't starting on the bench, make sure you change those before 5 minutes up until kickoff. And of course, with all of that, please gamble aware. Right then, chaps, moving on to the questions. So thanks to those who sent in their questions via Twitter for this week. Richard has asked, if you could control the music at Molineux, which song would you choose from 5 minutes prior to the teams coming out and at the end of the game if we win? Dave, I'll come to you first, mate. Sensible suggestions, please.
I think you stick with the Elvis for 5 minutes before. You basically keep the same song until you lose. And at the moment, Elvis is unbeaten 5 minutes before kickoff. So you keep that. I don't know, after the game, I like the classics that they go in now. after the game, you've either got rocking all over the world. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Erasure, Respect. That always one goes down well. That was Crusaders Away, that one. Any of those, proper little karaoke song, anything that we performed in Benidorm should be up there, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm happy with those two choices.
Finn, what about you, mate?
I don't know. I haven't got massively strong opinions of a song that they should really go for. Any Led Zeppelin always goes down well, doesn't it, with the connections? But I liked Black. You know when they do Black and Gold? It's not necessarily like a karaoke one, but it was very relevant.
Before the game, classic, that one should be on, to be fair.
Yeah, just at some point, like it would be rude not to.
That's gold and black, mate.
Black and yellow if we're really stretching. Or you go back to Glorious after the game if we're going classic.
That's if a loss. That's
so
a loss.
Yeah. Oh yeah, a loss. Yeah, we'll do that. That's beautiful.
Glorious.
Your way out on you as the floors are slipping.
Even if it's not raining, just go. Stairs will be slippery. Please mind your way out.
Wolves nil, Atkinson Stanley 3. Please mind your way out while on you. Oh God. I don't know. Like, I love Hi Ho Silver Lining, but that's obviously after players come out.
They played that, by the way, at the start of the second half, and they timed it absolutely brilliantly. So they must have started it as the ref come out the tunnel, because they did it from right at the start of the song, and as he put the ball on the ground, it's as we sang Hi Ho's Wolverhampton, and he cut off, and then we kicked off. Like the time on it was like bang on, but again, that just got everyone straight up for it in the second half as well.
Yeah, I like that one. I know he appears quite a lot, but Simon 53 Baldhead from Bilston probably doesn't appreciate Panda.
Yeah,
so that's probably
it's not brilliant. Yeah, respect Bilston though.
Obviously, it was Kanye West, but seems to be less of an appetite to play him after his comment. Yeah. I think that what they need to do more of is, you know, back in the Championship where we had like Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds and we had Kashmir by the Scala cover, but you had like video content that matched it. Like that's what I think they need to do more of. And I know obviously it's massive resource on the content team, but that's what you need. I used to watch that, and every single time you used to get goosebumps. And then they used to have the like the beating heart, didn't they, with the like the Wolves badge? Like that used to be class. That did. So I mean stuff like that. And then after the game, for me, it's got to be Tears for Fears. I think it's so synonymous now with like massive wins. I think we first played it after beating United in the cup, didn't we? So for me, it would be that. Wolves AW has asked how many points would we be happy with out the next 3 games. So as Dave mentioned earlier, Southampton, Bournemouth and Fulham. Bournemouth at home, Southampton away and Fulham away. How many points do you reckon, Dave?
9. I think 9 is doable, but not getting ahead of myself. I'd be more than happy with 7, I think, from the next 3. Yeah, take 7.
I think I'd take 6 if the 6 were against the first 2, if you know what I mean. So you win the 6 points.
I agree, yeah. I do get you.
Yeah.
I think as long as we're taking points off those teams in and around us, you know, we're laughing. Fulham have done way better than what I expected this season, to be fair to them. So, but yeah, I think we're more than good enough. Yeah, to get.
Yeah, I'll tip them to go down. I remember saying to Fulham fans, "We'll have Pelling off you when you go down." For the last couple of weeks, I've been thinking, "Oh my God."
Search, tweet, delete.
At M Cooper writes, "Paying you." Search, delete. Goodbye. I think we'll get 7 points, and I'd be happy with 7 points. But I wouldn't be surprised if we got 3. I wouldn't be surprised if we got 9, because I think that's and it comes on to another couple of questions we've got here. I feel like it's important that we just keep ourselves a little bit grounded here. Yes, we've just come off a massive win and a big win and much improved, but let's just be sensible about things. Tom Martin is asking, can you think of a better Wolves win in the Premier League given the opposition and pressure, Finn?
Yeah, I don't. There's something in the back of my mind about this one is that, like, it didn't feel as massive because, like, when Salah was getting into the box, I didn't feel like, oh my God, this is Mo Salah. It was like, oh, he's missed again. Like, it didn't feel as sort of massive when we beat, you know, like when you beat Prime City and then like the I suppose the Premier League doesn't count, but like the FA Cup, the Man United game in the FA Cup. So it's probably, I'd say maybe 3 or 4 or 5, maybe higher. But you make a good point with the pressure on the situation as well. So probably up there, but something in the back of my mind isn't getting too overboard just because of, I mean, I think Liverpool's last 3 away games have been slapped by 3 goals every time. So maybe I'm being a little bit pessimistic because of the situation we're in, but maybe if we look back at the end of the season, it will be the turning point and be a massive game.
Dave?
Yeah, I think it's one of them because Liverpool are in such a bad patch. I don't think it feels as big as probably it should be. But the amount of stats and sort of league, games that we've played with them without, especially at home, without winning, it's a long run. But I think like the win against City a few years ago around Christmas was like just phenomenal. Like that sort of game, it was just felt unbelievable, and that's still up there for me. But especially being 2-0 down in that match to come back and win, but it's up there. This game, it's definitely up there. I think it's almost a bit like that Arsenal game, like I mentioned earlier, beaten 3-1 doesn't really get spoke about much. But imagine saying even between now in the last 5 years, someone was 3-0 up against Arsenal at half time. That's going to be rare, surely. So I think that there'll still be one of those games in 3 or 4 years. Oh, you remember we beat Liverpool 3-0? I'll be like, oh yeah. Well, you won't. It's not going to be one that comes off the top of your head straight away.
Next question comes from Hamza, who's asked, who's the most improved player under Julian Lopetegui? Semedo?
I think there's a lot, to be fair, isn't there? I think Semedo's up there. Podence definitely there.
Semedo got worse and then got better, didn't he? He had a dip at the start.
A bit of a redemption arc, isn't it?
Yeah. So Semedo last few weeks, I think it's probably gonna come in spells. Podence in January, but the last couple of weeks he's not really. Well, he's not started, has he? So I don't know if he's out of favour or.
He has had an injury though as well, hasn't he?
Yeah. So. And now it's Semedo. But if we can have these patches where even Aït-Nouri, like with Hugo Bueno playing so well, me included, I think everyone was almost just trying to find a way to shoehorn Aït-Nouri into their teams, and obviously we saw that as him playing left wing quite a few times. But I think everyone it's just had a positive impact on anyone. Nunes as well, but the amount of people saying he's a waste of money.
Yeah, Nunes, as in our Nunes, he was a bit of an easy one to improve, wasn't he? Because we literally just dropped him into deeper midfield.
Yeah.
Obviously, barring the game at the weekend, but that was probably the easiest one to improve straight away. Just play him in position, and that magically worked. But yeah, a lot of players.
It's good shouts. I think Nunes is probably the obvious one as well. Wolves Josh has said, what should be the goals for next season? Should we stop up again? Getting a bit too ahead of ourselves, but Finn, what should be the goals?
Let's get clipped up. Why not? We'll go for Europe when we inevitably go down. But no, to be fair, I was listening to something earlier when it was like a sort of neutral football show talking about Wolves, and they said, well, if you've come up against Sarabia, Cunha, Hwang, plays like this, Nunes in Champions League games. I mean, the teams they are playing at, it looks like a European level attacking force at the very least. So I think next season, mid-table at a minimum. But if you see what Brentford, Brighton are doing at the moment, I'd say teams like Brentford, we've got better players on paper. So a lot of teams will say it next season, I will aim for Europe. But I think we could be one of those with such a high pedigree manager, the players we managed to bring in. I think you could probably go for it. But yeah, let's stay up this season first and then we'll think about that.
I think the effect that Lopetegui's had on players, the team, transfers, I think we can get to stay up this season and get to summer. I think not necessarily the league, but sky's the limit for us, really, short term. I would just be happy with us having a good season, top half finish, not necessarily pushing sort of top 6, top 7, but top half finish. Because the last 2 years, this year, but probably the last 12 months, really, we've been crap. Bruno Lage started off really well. It's been crap. So I just want to try and have a season where we're going into every game thinking, hold on, we might get something out of this game. Maybe a nice little cup run because we sort of written those off this year as such, although we did okay in the Carabao. But top half finish, bring in a couple of players. It's inevitable this season. This summer, we're going to lose some top players. But let's try and win some more football matches. It'd be lovely, really.
Andy Willis has asked if you could reset the season. Where do you think we could finish with these manager and these players? Also, keep up the good work, boys. Thank you, Andy.
Cheers, Andy.
Dave, if we were to reset the season, where do you think we could? Honestly, I love these questions. After the City game, I think we're done. I think we could.
It's a similar question, isn't it? It's like, yeah, it's basically
8th or 9th, I'd say. 8th or 9th.
Finn?
See, when you think of like the off seasons that Chelsea, Liverpool have had, there are spaces up there if we had this team from the start, because obviously those teams will probably be much better next season. So it just kind of affect the question from just purely next season. Yeah, probably similar to Dave. Yeah, I think we'd be pushing 8th. Yeah, 8th, 7th, 8th, maybe a little Conference League finish.
I think probably about 11th or 12th, personally. Mitch Brown has asked, have we finally solved our striker issues by signing Craig Dawson?
Well, he's offered more than, he'll offer more of a threat. Every set piece seemed to be, I don't know if it was a coincidence, but aimed towards him.
Yeah.
So I think they know that, he's capable. The one thing that was interesting, I thought they didn't trust Dawson enough on the ball in regards to whenever Semedo had it on the right, it was very rare that he actually turned and went back to Dawson. And I don't know if that will change or that's through instruction. But going forward, we've got one hell of a threat there, and I think, hopefully we get a few goals off him between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, because he's not the biggest. He's not like Kilman, who's like 6'4", 6'5". But what he does do is, and it's what we've been really missing, especially from defending set pieces, is just aggression.
Yeah,
just attacking the ball.
I don't know if you saw this, Matt, but he absolutely flattened Nunes. And then right before half time, I thought, booking right on half time. But Nunes really didn't like it because he kept having words with him, kept trying to go in on him late as well. But kept his cool. And similar to who's Anderson, wasn't it, from Palace? He got onto Nunes' head and ends up nutting him and getting sent off. So I thought something similar could happen. But he dealt with it really well, and really solid debut from him.
And just a final question, just I don't know, something a little bit more fun. When you go to the chip shop, lads, what's your ideal order?
I always get hounded for mine, but I have like a tikka wrap and chips idea.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But anyone outside of like the West Midlands cannot understand it. I speak to people from like down London way, and they're like, we said chip shop, not like curry house. I was like, yeah, but chicken, do like chicken tikka. But that's my go-to, chicken tikka wrap and chips.
When I lived up north, like it's so fucking strange compared to the Midlands. So your chip shops will serve chips and Chinese. Yeah, if you want a kebab, you have to go to a kebab house. It's like, honestly, when I went up there and said like, well, in our chip shops, you don't have like Chinese and sweet and sour. You have kebabs on the back. And I'm like, what?
Well, if it was a standard chippy, I'm happy with fish and chips and mushy peas. To be fair, I'd have anything. Same like curry sauce on. I love curry sauce on a chippy as well. So anything like. All the American listeners here are like, what the fuck's going on? But...
What do you mean you don't have a Twinkie with your chips? Or... I've just offended all of Talking Wolves American listeners. I am so sorry. What do you go for? Plain chips, plain fish, no butter.
No, but it's lining you both
battered
up
sausage.
I love a jumbo sausage.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
I never liked fish as a kid, so I'd always have the you get like the two little sausages or the big jumbo sausage, and I've never really gone away from it. But yeah, mushy peas, gravy, jumbo sausage, chips.
Gravy. So you must get that from your mum, mate, because she's a northern lass, isn't she?
Oh yeah, gravy on everything.
Yeah, I love gravy. I mean, mine's mixed meat and chips.
Gravy on my Weetabix.
Gravy on your Weetabix. Mixed meat and chips. Garlic mayo salad.
I've garlic mayo as well. There's a chippy, Matt, and I don't know if you'd like this.
Got to be orange chips.
Yeah, there's a chippy in Codsall. He does like, if you have salad and stuff on a wrap, he has like, I don't know what he calls it, but he has like a salad like olives and stuff in there as well.
Oh,
like different, but it's quite nice, to be fair.
Is it like a gyros, or is it just still like
a proper wrap you'd have from a chippy, but like in part of the salad you can have like olives and stuff in there as well.
And where's this Codsall?
Yeah, but it is a Greek guy that owns it. So
yeah. I mean, it's posh out there, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
it is nicer.
Yeah, chippies by me, you get lettuce, onion, and a bit of white cabbage, and that's about it. And you get spat out on the way out. So, but yeah, that's my order. Just before we close the show, we've also got a message from one of our other partners at Football Prizes. So they've got a wonderful Pedro Neto prize up on their site right now. So it's a Pedro Neto signed and framed Wolves football boot. But not only that, there's a load of instant prizes you can win as well. So there's a Pedro Neto signed Wolves shirt, there's a Pedro Neto signed and framed Wolves montage, and there's also 4 lots of £5 football prize site credits. So go and have a go at that. It's £3.95 a ticket, and those instant wins you'll get notified straight away if you've won them. So if you do win them, make sure you tag us on Twitter and let us know that you've won that. So, there's some fantastic prizes in there. That's over at Football Prizes. The link will be in the description down below. And it's £3.95 to enter. Chaps, absolute pleasure. Again, as always, it's always a pleasure to do it off the back of a win. Hopefully next week we can do the same. Dave, thank you again. Where can people find you should they wish?
No problem. Enjoyed it, lads. Yeah, it's at Dave as a Party on Twitter, Instagram, and obviously the old LinkedIn.
Finn, where can people find you should they wish to follow you?
Finners everywhere, and for once there is a video up that just went live this evening. Well, yesterday for people listening. Nice. So on YouTube, FINERRZ, and then I'll be on the overlap tomorrow as well. So catch me on the my best friends, Gary Neville.
You slipped that one in. Sorry, Finn, you just dropped that name there, man. You want to pick that back up?
Yeah, I told my wife. I didn't get what you said then, but go on, have another go.
I just said, all the best with it.
No, I'm not even joking. I didn't get what you said again.
Have a nice time, Finn.
Have a good time, mate.
Okay, thanks, mate. Yeah, it was meant to be live, but it's not anymore. So it'll be. I don't know when it'll be out, but yeah, I'll be on there, and I'll I don't know. I'll give Carragher some stick from all of us.
Why do you think it's not live anymore? Because of the City announcement.
Well, I don't think. I don't know what. I don't think I'll get much airtime at all because of all those announcements. I think every team that's going to be on there are pretty much in crisis for some reason or another, aren't they? So they might go, "Oh, good result, Finn." I'll go, "Yeah," and they go, "Right, thank you very much." But yeah, I don't know why it's changed, but yeah, exciting.
Yeah, the fact that those clubs are in crisis, twin with the fact that you could put a glass eye to sleep, probably means you won't get much airtime. So, sorry, mate, it's that internet's playing up again. I don't know what you said. You okay? Still there?
Yeah, I didn't hear that one either.
We'll brush past that one. I'm M Cooper Writes on Twitter, Matt Cooper Bites on all other socials if you want to keep up with the curries I've been cooking. And we are Talking Wolves across all socials: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and of course LinkedIn. If you've enjoyed the show, let us know. Like the video, drop a few comments, and if you're new here, subscribe. Until next time, hopefully we're reporting on another Wolves win on next week's podcast. But until then, take care and look after yourselves.